You are not losing at trading because of some strategy or indicator that's not working. You are losing because you are not in alignment with yourself. Well, what does that mean? It means we are all different. We have different goals, different amounts of capital, different time horizons, internal dialogues, reactions to volatile environments, assets that we have conviction in, risk tolerances, etc. Wouldn't it make sense that we should all actually be trading differently? Today, I'm going to break down my 4 trading archetypes, my animal spirits, if you will, that will help you figure out exactly the bucket you should specifically lean into. Stop trading like somebody else. It has no longevity. It's like dating a person for much longer than you should, even though deep down you know you're not compatible, just because you're trying to force it and make it work. By the end of this video, you will better understand who you are, why it makes sense, and how to better execute as the archetype that you actually have a fucking chance at this game in. So let's get into it. And real quick, I'm James. I help new and intermediate traders try to go from losing to winning as quickly as possible through different content and perspective and mindset stuff that you might not have seen before. Look, I see it over and over, especially in crypto and high-flying stocks. You have like smart, capable, disciplined people in most of their life. But when they start actually live trading, it's 1 week, they're calm, they're cool, collected, they're winning money here and there and thinking that they got it down. But the next week, it turns into impulsivity, anger, confusion, blaming, which then leads subsequently to sizing up, chasing, FOMO, blowing their accounts, or actually the reverse, maybe hesitating to do anything at all. In my eyes, this is because they just don't have alignment, no process, no understanding of their own goals or why they're doing what they're doing. It's just some slop bucket of ideas and bad timing and tilting and being a head case. All right, so let's break down the 4 archetypes. That is the bull, the owl, the fox, and the elephant. As I read through these, see if 1 or 2 of them jump out at you and feel right. Most of us are heavily weighted towards 1 or 2 of these buckets. Once you do that, you can actually start to lean into it. So I actually believe everybody can make it in trading, but not without the prerequisite of knowing themselves and how that's actually possible. There are billionaires and legendary traders that are all different types of archetypes. It's proof that any personality type has a chance at succeeding in a major way. Archetype number 1, the bull, kind of the prototypical one, I suppose. That's going to be centered around conviction, concentration, and controlled aggression. The bulls, they're driven by heavy conviction in assets. Bulls see that opportunity and they want to press. They're comfortable being early to things, being on the frontier, maybe even being wrong at first, but end up being very right. They thrive in expansion phases, liquidity waves, strong narratives. The bull's greatest strength is their ability to concentrate and do it aggressively. When they believe, they size up. They don't need 10 good ideas, they need 1 or 2 good ones and the courage to lean into it. But then there's times when the bulls maybe lose, they're misaligned. Their conviction turns into ego. That aggression can turn into over leverage, and the overconfidence can turn into forcing trades. The bull doesn't lose because they take risk, they lose because they're taking unstructured risk. So if you are a bull, your edge is not slowing yourself down to be an owl or an elephant. Your edge is building rules that let you express that conviction without blowing yourself up. Bulls, they tend to win when they respect volatility, they manage their downside, and only press when the odds are truly asymmetric. Archetype number 2, the owl. They thrive on accuracy, analysis, patience, and depth. The owl, they're a thinker. They want to understand why something works before they ever put money into it. They value accuracy over speed and clarity over excitement. They thrive in those environments where deep research, fundamentals, and the structure of something really matters. They're naturally patient people. They don't need to be trading every day. They're not getting shiny object syndrome. And they're comfortable sitting out, waiting for something that aligns and letting others go through the mistake process themselves. The owl's greatest strength is their decision quality, but their biggest weakness could be something like hesitation. When misaligned, patience can become that paralysis. Analysis becomes avoidance. Waiting for confirmation becomes missing the move. And owls, they don't ever really blow up per se. They just quietly underperform because they never fully deploy when it matters the most. If you're an owl, your edge isn't becoming faster or louder. The edge is knowing when the work is done and then acting decisively once all of your criteria is met. Owls win when they trust that preparation enough to commit. Number 3, the fox. Ones who are adaptable, speedy, tactically aware, kind of a day trader type mentality. So the fox is adaptive, they're fast thinkers, they notice shifts in sentiment before anybody else, shifts in liquidity and behavior, and they can kind of be in front of that noise. They're comfortable changing their mind and rotating capital super quickly, and they can thrive in a choppy environment or where there's transitions of regime, just early changes. They're excellent at short-term opportunities and tactical positioning where others really struggle. The fox's greatest strength is that situational awareness. But here's the trap. When they're misaligned, adaptability becomes inconsistency. It can become overtrading if they move too fast. Flexibility can turn into a lack of cohesiveness, of a thesis at all. Foxes don't usually lose because maybe that they're wrong. They lose because they never stay with anything long enough for that edge to compound over time. So if you're a fox, your edge isn't locking yourself into one rigid system. Your edge is defining rules for adaptation, knowing exactly when to pivot and when to stay put. Foxes truly succeed when that agility is paired with some structure. And last, archetype number 4, the elephant, thriving on stability, endurance, compounding over time, and defensiveness. The elephant is built for the long game. They care about survival, durability, compounding. They're going to be very emotionally steady, risk-aware, and resilient through all sorts of up and down cycles. They don't chase hype, they don't panic during drawdowns, and their greatest strength is that endurance. They understand a long-term vision, they understand cyclicality, they respect volatility, but they protect capital first. The elephant, though, they do have a quiet weakness. When they're misaligned, that discipline can turn into over-rigidity. That risk awareness turns into being under-allocated. And that patience can turn into complete missed opportunities. Elephants don't blow up, but they sometimes fail to fully participate in the upside. So if you're an elephant, your edge isn't becoming super aggressive or super speculative. Your edge is allowing selective boldness without violating that core need for safety. Elephants win by letting time and structure and compounding do the heavy lifting, while borrowing just enough conviction when conditions truly favor them. So there you have it. There are the 4 animal spirits. Now, I've actually written up 100+ page guides on each of these to really help people hone in on their specific archetype, to dive deeper into those strengths and the blind spots, the cognitive biases, examples of days in the life of people like that, sources to research on successful traders in each of those buckets. I'll likely eventually turn that into a product. The only way to get it right now is actually joining the private Discord, but that's a story for another time. If you're really interested in something like that, to learn more, the link tree is in the link below. Anyways, here's the thing. If you can't even bucket yourself into one of these archetypes, how do you actually expect to create a good process or a stream of good decisions that make it much more likely to be a consistent winning trader? I mean, it's obvious, right? You need to start here. Answer the bigger questions about yourself. Learn about where will you dominate and what things are going to hold you back. The first step of any problem, like an addict, is realizing that you have a problem in the first place. When you match archetypes, your process, and then a trading strategy that actually complements it, trading is going to feel cleaner, calmer, your execution will improve, your emotional reactivity will relax because you finally understand more of your why. Your confidence finally has a chance to spiral upwards because deep down, you know why something might be working. You're not just guessing anymore. Without that alignment, you're going to feel lost, fighting yourself, blaming the market, or a host of other things. No charting strategy or guru method or course will outlast that internal friction that you'll have. So as you listen, did one of those jump out at you? Did you say, yeah, that's totally me? Good for you to recognize that. Now, of course, some want to be another archetype, and that's okay. I understand that. Some elephants, they want to be a fox, or a bull wants to be more of an owl. But I implore you, give a little bit more credit to what feels more natural. Give it more of a chance. To me, that's like focusing too much on plugging your leaks and your weaknesses, hoping it solves all your problems before truly leaning into your strengths and trying to find the ceiling there first. In future videos, I'll break down these archetypes in a deeper fashion, how they trade, how they manage risk, their cognitive biases, how to fix them, but this just gives you a general idea. For now, sit with this question. Who are you truly when real money is on the line? Once you answer that, everything else can get a bit easier. Catch you next time.